Here is a short story about an elderly man who devoted himself to revitalizing an abandoned park. His actions not only transformed the neglected space into a vibrant garden, but also brought a sense of community back to the neighborhood, inspiring others to join in his efforts. Before he arrived, the park was a forgotten corner of the world, a place where time seemed to have stopped in a state of decay. Cracked benches sat like skeletal remains amidst a sea of overgrown weeds, their paint peeling away to reveal weathered wood beneath. Litter, carried by the indifferent wind, collected in corners and along the edges of what was once a children's playground. The swing set stood silent, its chains rusted, and its seats missing, a lonely monument to laughter long since silenced. A thick layer of dust and neglect covered every surface, and the air was heavy with the scent of damp earth and decay. It was a space that had been surrendered to neglect, a ghost of its former self, where vibrant memories had faded into a monochrome palette of grey and brown. The community had turned its back on it, their gazes averted as they hurried past, as if the park's desolation were a contagious sorrow. But then, Arthur began his quiet work, arriving each morning with the first light of dawn. His movements were steady and deliberate, a stark contrast to the chaos of the neglected landscape. The process started simply, with the clearing of debris. His gloved hands patiently gathered discarded bottles, faded newspapers, and plastic bags, filling one trash bag after another until the ground beneath was finally visible. With the clutter gone, he turned his attention to the earth itself. Armed with a simple hand trowel and a rusty hoe, he began to till the compacted soil, his face a mask of concentration as he broke through the hard, unforgiving crust. Close-ups would capture the sweat beading on his brow and the determination in his eyes as he worked. He carefully pulled out stubborn weeds, their roots clinging desperately to the ground, making way for a new life. Then came the planting. With gentle precision, he placed each seed and sapling into the newly prepared soil, patting the earth around them like a parent tucking in a child. He worked alone, a solitary figure moving with a quiet purpose that seemed to hum with the promise of what was to come. The change did not happen overnight. It was a slow, gradual unfurling of beauty. At first, the transformation was subtle, a delicate dance between the old and the new. Small green shoots began to push their way through the dark soil, tiny flags of life planted in a field of decay. A patch of freshly turned earth stood in stark contrast to the cracked concrete path beside it. A newly painted bench gleamed with a fresh coat of white, positioned next to its dilapidated, forgotten twin. The first few flowers bloomed, their vibrant petals a shocking burst of color against the muted backdrop of rust and ruin. These small victories were testaments to Arthur's unwavering dedication. The park was in a state of beautiful transition, a living canvas where patches of bright green and vibrant color slowly began to reclaim the territory once held by shades of brown and gray, signaling the return of hope. Finally, the day came when the park was reborn, a breathtaking spectacle of color and life. The revitalized space stood in full bloom, a vibrant oasis in the heart of the neighborhood. Where there were once weeds, there were now sprawling flower beds bursting with roses, daisies, and lavender, their sweet fragrance filling the air. The cracked pathways had been swept clean and repaired, inviting visitors to wander through the lush greenery. The broken benches were mended and painted, and now they were occupied by smiling neighbors, young couples, and children whose laughter echoed where silence once reigned. The rusty swing set was restored, its gentle creak a happy rhythm in the symphony of the rejuvenated park. Arthur, now often joined by volunteers inspired by his work, would stand back and watch, his heart full. The park was more than just a garden. It was a testament to the idea that with patience and care, even the most desolate places could be brought back to life, blooming with not just flowers, but with community and connection.